Hello and good day. So it's good to have you again. And for today, we're going to talk about your incident command system. And if we say your incident command system, this is the one of the most widely used system and one of the most recognized and sought after. It's because it is very effective. You can actually use this one either you're planning for a small birthday party, barangay fiesta, or big events such as Miss Dagupan or Miss Pangasinan or Miss Universe. Actually, the incident command system or the ICS is being used. And today we're going to talk about this one in full detail as we go along our session. Okay, but before that, let's have a quick background about the development of the ICS here in the Philippines. So, as we all know, the Philippines is at risk of various disasters due to the following. Primarily, it's because of natural hazards, human induced hazards, as well as climate change. You guys already read or knew about these things maybe in your senior high school, but we will talk about this one. If we say about natural hazards, it actually exists in our country, the Philippines, primarily because we are secluded in the or our geographical location. The country is located within the Pacific Ring of Fire, and it explains the existence of volcanoes in our country. And it's not just volcanoes, but active volcanoes. And with that, there's an occurrence of earthquakes as well as tsunamis. Recently, we just experienced an earthquake. Okay. So this explains the natural hazards. How about your human-induced hazards? These are industrial activities and accidents, acts of terrorisms, criminal activities in which um, it actually contribute in the society or in the humanity and the humanity to have hazards. While your climate change, this is due to our acts as human. So, most often than that, we are all contributing or contributory to this climate change. An example of consequence of this one is the global warming, the rise in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. And with that, um, it's the brief background and development of your incident command here in the Philippines. Now, let's go here. Other major factor about creating ICS in the Philippines is because of the past major incidents, just like in the Wawawi Stampede incident in February 2006. The celebration of this noontime show actually became disastrous because of influx of many people. The tropical storm Undoy in September 2009, in which our province, Pangasinan, was actually gravely affected by this one. Quirino grandson hostage taking in August in 2010, it wasn't actually properly executed all the plans. Bohol earthquake and siege of Marawi in 2013 and 2017 respectively, in which I talked before in our previous session. And the last one is the Philippine Air Force C-130 crash in July of 2021. And recently, there's a fire incident in the supermarket or marketplace in the Baguio City, and these are all because of the it's because of the factors such as natural hazard, human-induced hazard, and climate change. Okay, now let's go deeper here about your Wawawi Stampede. Now, what went wrong here? What are the gaps that resulted in this chaotic situation? Willie Revillame is celebrating his, I'm not really quite sure if it's the anniversary of the Wawawi. Then he invited many people, and many people actually went to Ultra to watch his noontime show. They did not expect that there's a great or massive presence of people. Now, I want you to think for a few seconds. Um, what are the things that should have been done, or what do you think are the problems during the incident of this one? Okay, now I think one way or another, it pop up in your mind, mind that there is no proper planning and management for a high caliber density population event such as celebration in a in big place such as ultra. No contingency plans for worst case scenario, like where are they going to put, or to divert other people who cannot go inside the event center, or what if there is an emergency or disaster, what will they do? Inadequate number of responders, maybe they did not coordinated with the localities or to the national or the NDRRMC. There's no proper or clear leader during the occurrence of this disaster. There is no in charge during the occurrence. That is why the Wawawi Stampede is one of the worst human-induced cases in the Philippines. Now let's go here. Issues and concerns from the past disasters or incidents. Now there's a lack of reliable incident information. Now what is happening here is there is no assigned public information to disseminate the official information. What is happening is like everyone wants to talk. Everyone wants to give their side. The mayor, the governor, the vice governor, especially if you are in a different party list or different ticket. You want to talk, you want to inform the public people, but there is no assign who can just actually give one information for all. Inadequate communications. Agencies relied on their own communication tools. However, there are some tools or equipment that are actually not it's actually not functioning well. Too many people reporting to one supervisor. The supervisor or the commanding staff works with 10 to 15 responders, and all of these responders want to talk as well. All of these responders want to do report, and then you, um, as as a doer of a task, you will report to the governor, you will report to the vice governor, to the administrator, to the municipal engineer, to the congressman. You will be, you will be talking to many people. Too many responders. What is happening here is there are too many rescuers, EMTs, firefighters, social workers in one incident area. Now, how about this one? Too many response organizations or structures. Okay, for example, there's a fire or there's an incident in Pangasinan. Now, every organizational structures will go there. The DOH, AFP, PNP, Bureau of Fire, DSWDO, everyone. They also have their own organizational structures with respective chain of command and authorities. So what is happening here is like it's overflowing of command. There's like overflowing of authorities. No check-in procedures for responders. During this situation, like everyone who will go there, they will become freelance. But as of now, they should be doing check-in so that they will be putting them in a proper place with a proper command incident commander. Okay. How about lack of structure or coordinated planning between agencies? No mechanisms to harmonize the interagency planning, as well as terminology differences between civilians or between agencies. What is happening here is that The civilian personnel, they are very unfamiliar with the terminologies of the uniformed personnel. The PNP, the military, the Navy, they are using the 10 codes. But the normal people, the civilian people who are doing rescue, they cannot understand this one. Later on, I'll be talking about the 10 codes in which were using before when I was still in the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction Office. Political intervention. With this one, some politicians, they took advantage or they're taking advantage of the disaster for their own political interests. They're giving relief goods for photo shoots or something like that. Okay, now let's move on here. How about this one? These are the examples of your 10 codes. And we are using this one in order for us to communicate properly, secretly at some point, or to minimize lengthy conversations with one another. Like, for example, I am talking to my boss and I'm going to talk about affirmation. So I will just say um, 10-4. Okay, so it means that I am saying okay, or I am agreeing to what is the order. Now if I'm asking um for additional response, or for my troop members to go to my place, I will just say my code first, like um this is direct and I need some backup, 1018, 1018. So it means that I need them urgently. Okay, then I will say 1020, 1020, first floor. So that is actually your station or your location. So you will just be using your 10 codes so that you can actually communicate well and communicate very fast with other people. With that, with the things that I said before, the creation of your RA 101 21, or the um, otherwise known as your PDRM Act of 2010. So, in response to the challenges encouraged from the past major disasters and incidents, the ICS was mandated to be established in the Philippines through your RA 10121. So, this is our Bible as responders. So, this is the one that we are learning and following whenever we do some responses with our clients. Now, let's move on here. What is the definition of your incident? So this is an occurrence caused by either human or natural phenomena that requires response actions to prevent or minimize loss of life or damage to property and the environment. So this means that any situation that will require response, intervention, or assistance, whether it is a simple accident, maybe like someone fell in his or her bike, or um, there's like a fire incident nearby your place, or a complex situation such as flooding. This is what we term as incident. I hope this one is clear. Now let's go here. The definition of your ICS. Now from the definition alone, if you're going to dissect it word by word, you will understand already the meaning of your ICS. ICS is a standard on-scene all hazard incident management concept that can be used by all the DRRMC, or the Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council members, agencies, and response groups. Okay, so everything that you want to do, everything that you need to know in terms of, you know, going or intervening or responding to an incident, you can actually do it here in your ICS. Now, the purpose of your ICS, number one here is safety of responders and others, achievement of tactical objectives, as well as efficient use of resources. Now, If we say safety of responders and others, this is this is the most priority, the number one priority of the ICS. Responders first before others. Again, responders first before others. Operation can take on hold, they can be halted, it can be terminated if the site is not safe for the responders. So we have to take into consideration that all of the responders must be safe whenever they go to an incident. Next one is achievement of your tactical objectives. This must be done or formulated thoughtfully, as it will serve as basis for the action of the responders. Now, if we're going to set our tactical objective, for example, is minimize the loss of lives. So that is our main basis why we are doing the ICS. Okay, efficient use of resources. This is to prevent wastage of resources or overlapping of functions. Okay, now what are the benefits that we can actually get from your ICS? Meets the needs of incidents of any kind or sizes. Now, a while ago, I've mentioned to you that you can actually use ICS even if you're going to make a small party or a small celebration to high-end or big events. Now, it can be human, induced, natural, small scale to large in scope. Next one is allow personnel from variety of agencies into a common management structure. Remember that whenever there are disaster or incident that are happening around our places, many agencies will go there to give their services. Okay, now in order for us to have a common management structure, everyone can work together harmoniously using your ICS. Provide accountability and a planning process. Now, there is proper documentation and planning of who's doing what. In that case, everything is clear and in propriety. So it means whenever you're going to ask who's doing the contracts, you already know. You can actually detect who is giving the medication. You can actually locate who is the one responsible for giving the cash incentives. You already know who to find. It's because it's already in the ICS structure. Next one, provides logistical and administrative support to operational staff. Okay, what is happening here is all of those who went and giving their services, they can actually be provided with equipment and tools, as well as medications, as well as meals, and at some point quarters or place where they can actually take the rest or sleep. And also it is cost effective by avoiding duplication. Okay, by avoiding duplication of efforts. Okay, next one, we're going to talk about the principles of your ICS. So it has a lot, actually. It has 11 principles, but we will just be talking some of this one. As the other principles and features, you can learn this one further if you're going to work in a public agencies such as PDRRMO or Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. So above this one, we have the primary ICS management functions, management by objectives, unity of command and chain of command, organizational flexibility, span of control, command terminology, accountability, integrated communications, resources management, and incident action plans, as well as your ICS tools and forms. Now, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about the primary ICS management functions. So the functions are command, operations, planning, logistics, as well as finance and administration. So these five are actually one of the major functions of your ICS. Now, let's have a brief description about this one. If we say command, this is your IC or the incident commander. He or she is the overall responsible for the event, okay, or for the operation that will happen. An example of your IC is the president, the governor, or the mayor, or anyone who is the head of the structural function, okay, or the head of the government. Now, let's go to your operation. So they direct tactical actions. They're responsible for directing um, the tactical actions to meet the objectives. Most likely, um, most likely the one who are in charge here are the NDRRMC, the PDRRMO, the MDRRMO, the officers that are managing or heading the Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office or Council. So they are the one who are actually heading the operations. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next, which is the planning. They collect data, prepare, action, plan. Okay, so they are responsible for this one. So they are responsible for collection, evaluation, and display of incident information, as well as maintenance of status of resources and preparation of all of the incident action plan and related documentation. So usually here, these are the secretaries or um, the spokesperson or um, the PIO, um, the PIO are the press information officer, or the secretary of the governor, or the administrator of the governor or the mayor. They are the one who are actually doing this one, or the PPDO, the provincial planning management office. Now, let's go here. How about the logistics? They they are the one who are providing services and support. For example, here is the provincial engineering office. They are giving services about such as providing dump trucks or dumping some sands or rocks to, you know, to fix the road, something like that. Next one are the finance and the administration. So they're the responsible of keeping track of incidents or the costings, the money, the personnel and equipment records, the procurements and contracts. They are the one who are responsible for this one. So they know how many responders are there, how many people we will be providing with food and medication. They are the finance or admin. Okay, I hope this one is clear. Now let's go here about the goal. So here we need to, what will happen here, this is the tactical direction. So it indicates the specific actions that must be accomplished with the selected strategy. Now, our main goal here is casualties must be prevented. So what we'll be doing here is understand policy and direction. And in order for that is to prevent or minimize casualties resulting from the earthquake. Establish objectives. Search all structures in Barangay X for casualties by 2 p.m. Select appropriate strategies or strategy. Mobilize search and rescue teams. Perform tactical direction. Deploy 3 EMTs, 3 ambulances with ALS, 5 rescue teams in Barangay X. And that's the time that we are actually going to achieve our goals. Okay? Now, how about the unity of command and chain of command? Now, unity of command means that every individual has a designated supervisor. Now, help to ensure that clear reporting relationship actually exists, and it will eliminate confusion. For example, I am a nurse, and in my unity of command or chain of command, I will be reporting to my supervisor. Now, the supervisor will be reporting to the ward manager, and the ward manager will be reporting to the chief nurse. So that's the unity of command and chain of command. Okay, now let's move on here. This is the ICS organization, the one that I am talking a while ago. This is like for big events. You can actually do this one or edit this one in a smaller ICS organization, depending on the one that you're going to do. So here we have actually your incident commander, the head. We also have your public information officer, which is the one who is doing your the one that is doing your planning. We also have your liaison officer. Maybe this one is doing the logistics. We also have your safety officer, which is the one who is doing the operations. Okay, again, the incident commander, this is the one who is, the main function is to command. And all of this one, they have other subunits like operations section chief, planning section chief, logistic, and finance and administration or section chief. Okay, now let's go here. Who does who? The incident commander has the overall responsibility for the incident. For example, setting up the objectives. These are the things that we're going to do. These are the things that we have to gain all throughout the situation. And these are the things that we're going to set up so that we can minimize this or that. Now, the operations section chief develops tactical organization and directs all resources to carry out the incident action plan. Your planning section chief develops incident action plan to accomplish the objectives, maintains resources and situation status, while your logistics section chief provides resources and all other services needed to support the incident, while the finance and the admin monitors incident costs and provides fiscal guidance, procure needed resources, just like the things that I've discussed from the previous ones. Okay, now this, the Emergency Operations Center, or we term as your EOC, facility that serves as a repository of information and main hub of interagency coordination, link coordination to command and control. So here, just like this one, this is just like the setup before when I was still working in the provincial government. So in order for us to facilitate all of the information, all of the interagency representatives are inside your EOC. For example, there's a great typhoon, and with this one, we will plan as one what are the things that we're going to do. So all of the heads of the interagency, your BFP, the WASAR, the mayor, the Department of Education, the Bureau of Fire, all of the heads, they are inside the EOC, and then they are the one who will actually disseminate the information from the governor or from the incident commander. Okay, so everyone is well informed, everyone is well equipped, and they know what to do. It's because they are inside your EOC already. If the typhoon is not yet the eye of the typhoon is not yet in Pangasinan, we are already inside the EOC to carry out plans. Okay, now let's move on here, and I think that's it. That's anything that you need to learn about the basics of your ICS. I hope you've learned something about this one. You just need to incorporate this one in a hospital setup in which the head of this one, in which the head of our ICS is the medical chief officer, and then the public information officer maybe here is the secretary. The liaison is the GSO of the office. The safety officer maybe is the chief nurse. So if you're going to to carry out the idea of ICS into a hospital setup or a school setup, you will understand and you will recognize how meaningful and effective ICS is. Okay, and that's it for today. I'll see you again next time. Goodbye and stay awesome.